So it's what day is it today? Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday, December 27th. And we're gonna make a trip to from Minneapolis, St. Paul to Grand Rapids today. And this will be among the coldest trips, probably the coldest trip I've ever done with a Model S. And it's as you can see, the temperatures, I'll show them for you, are they've warmed up to 5 at MSP and are currently around looks like around 0 somewhere. Maybe it's even +3 at Grand Rapids. Packed up. There's only one issue right now, and that is Kitty is hiding under the bathtub. And then I've got to grab the other cat, who is presently unsuspecting. Temptations, buddy? Oh, here, buddy. Ha. In you go. Whew. Mission accomplished. Okay, so I've charged, still charging a little bit, but up to 260 miles range. And with the cold weather, I don't know. I'd like to keep the battery capacity, avoid dropping down to really low capacity. I think I could make it just fine. But my plan for right now is to stop at the Hinckley supercharger and top up a little bit so I can avoid dropping below, say, 20% in this cold weather. Okay, so I set range mode on, and the battery is pretty warm from charging and being in the garage and having driven today. Another note, I have to use defrost because the windows tend to fog up again in the cold weather. Okay, I'm cruising at 75. It's pretty much settled in. It looks like we're going to be doing around 390 watt-hours per mile on this part of the trip. And the pickup truck is now a reindeer. Love it. Okay, so just another note on this trip. It's about it's a 178 mile trip, and right now I've done 28 miles of that. It's projecting I've got 166 miles to go if I keep at this speed at doing looks at what it says is an average of 388 watt-hours per mile. Okay, so my decision was made. I decided to skip the supercharger. I don't know if that's going to be a wise decision, but we do have an exit route. We can, if we get up to, there's a County Road 3 that scoots over to Hinckley from this route. So here's what the trip looks like. It's saying we're going to get back with 10% battery. I'm a bit doubtful about that, but maybe at a slower speed, we're going to be okay. And the consumption, we stopped there a little bit to, it lowered our consumption there temporarily, but it's going to be coming back up. It's projecting 153 miles range. I don't know why it's saying 10% battery will be left on the car when we get there, because the trip is still 145 miles to go. Actually, a little bit less than that, because the route it's giving us is not the optimal one. So I'm going to be going a route that's shorter than this. So it may be more like 140, but even at that, it's going to be probably 5% at the way this is projecting the range. Okay, we're at Cambridge now, and the range, the watt-hours per mile, has been dropping a bit. Okay, well, we're a little farther along here. Traffic's going pretty fast, but I've caught up to some people in front of me, so I get a little bit of a draft, and they're going about 65 miles per hour. So far, we're averaging about, we're doing about 389 watt-hours per mile on the trip. I expect that to drop a little bit as we we take the little slower route on the part of this route now. Okay, just a little farther now. Temperature's dropped to -3 Fahrenheit. That's -19 Celsius. So it's getting kind of cold out, and this first time I've really done a Subzero distance, at least a distance drive in Subzero weather. And we've got a projected range of 127 miles. And if I look at the trip, it's saying 7% battery left, so we're doing okay. I'd like to have it that we get back with about 10% battery, but you know, I'll be filling it up or plug it in right away. It's the moment I get in. It's the first thing I'll do. So at this point of the trip, we're doing, we've lost 121 miles of range for 87.4 miles of driving. So we're actually doing worse than 30% range loss. It's like, well, no, actually 120 divided by 87 is probably getting close to around 30%. So I'll have to figure that out later. But so going along, it says we got 114 projected range for 88 miles left. Okay, update. We're just south of Mora a little bit, about 10 miles or so. As you can see here, it's getting dark, and it's occasionally going off and on, toggling off and on in the morning to stay below 65 miles an hour to reach the destination. It's one problem we're having here, we're up against, is the fact that the temperature is dropping. It's now between -7 and -8 Fahrenheit, so you're talking -22 Celsius. So getting pretty seriously cold. And so for that reason, I think that's probably the reason why my range, my watt hours per mile, isn't dropping like it would normally do on this part of the trip. But you can see I've got it down set to 60, trying to minimize the temperature and minimize the amount of energy it takes to keep it warmer. Okay, it's saying 80 miles of range, and we've got just 64 miles to go now on the trip.
In 1 mile, turn right onto Minnesota 65.
So it's not giving me the warnings to stay below 65 miles an hour anymore, but if I go hit trip, it's giving me 6% battery left, which is, it declines to give me a number less than 6%. It'll just say, well, we're not going to estimate it. You're running too low and you need to slow down to reach your destination. It's -15 Fahrenheit now, and I'm going slower. It's saying I've got 43 miles of range left. It's thinks I'm going to be going a little more slowly. I don't know if that's going to help with these temperatures or not. If it's spending so much energy keeping the battery warm, or if I just stomp on it and keep the battery warm, then I'd be losing range due to greater air resistance. So, not sure what the issue, what the best answer is, but in either case, it doesn't look like I'm in really danger at all. This is really lower than I think I would recommend to go. I'm doing this only because I really know this route well. I do it pretty frequently. Next time, yeah, I think I'd prefer to stop in Hinckley and give it a charge so I don't get the battery below 20% or 10% on a cold weather day like this. Got 38 miles of range left, 39, and it's now giving me less power. They're not driving fast at all. Keep on coming by here. All right. This is my shortcut.
You have entered a dead-end street. Please make a U-turn. You have entered a dead-end street. Please make a U-turn.
The nav system hasn't caught up yet. This has been here for a few years. But, all right, there's my power. 75 kilowatts. Just got to make it over this hill. Another couple miles, and I'm home. All right, here we are. We're home. All I have to worry about is making it into the garage at this point. There we are. Okay. Okay, there it is. 7 miles of range left. So it's charging back up. And that's it. Now I can take care of the cats. Welcome back. Welcome back, guys. You're home. Yep, we're back. The trip was 177.5 miles, and we averaged 386 watt hours per mile, over 3 hours and 8 minutes. So very low battery. So we're charging now.